Panty Gang, what is going on? It is EJ, the boy here, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick heads up before we start. We tried a bit of a different recording process for this episode, and because of that, you may see some weird or strange transitions or cuts in the editing. Do me a favor, don't mind it. We're just experimenting a little bit behind the scenes, trying to up the quality for you guys, but it is a process, so bear with us. With that being said, we love you. We appreciate you for listening and rocking with us. Now, enjoy the episode.
No, I'm with Shaina.
So I'm not saying anything wrong. You just don't like what I'm saying.
It's not even that either.
No,
really. It just makes you slightly uncomfy, and I have to laugh.
It is
I don't know what else.
You
to
know
say,
what?
man?
It's giving me the ick.
Oh,
But
you know what?
why?
I don't even think I have the ick. I just think it's like a funny visual, and again, like somehow because my brain does weird things, I'm also like hearing you say this. I'm seeing the National Geographic logo. I'm hearing like David Attenborough. Like a lot of things are happening in my brain right now.
Yeah, the gazelles are all minding their business in a field right now, just like having a chill Sunday, eating some grass. Unbeknownst to us. The male lions are like hiding in the bushes.
If your house was on fire, tell me what three things, 2 or 3 things that you'd have to grab.
Only 3?
Yeah, like your top, and not including people.
Because I actually have a list.
You have a list?
Yeah.
I want to hear. Tell me. Okay, just fire it off then if you're prepared.
Okay, so I always keep my work bag by the door.
Yeah.
So, and that has my laptop and everything in it. So I would grab that.
Yeah.
And then I would put things in that bag to then run out with.
Yeah.
So I have a photo album that has a lot of just like, sentimental pictures and like baby pictures and like family pictures and stuff like that. So that would get shoved in the bag. I have a copy of a book. That's it's a collection of blog posts that my grandpa wrote.
Oh.
And that my mom like compiled actually into a book.
Yes.
And so I would grab that. Because that's extremely important.
Of course.
I would grab, it depends on if EJ is here or not. Because if he is here, then I wouldn't worry about anything like in the studio. Because I know he would grab that stuff.
Yes.
But if he wasn't here, then I would probably try to grab like the hard drive and that kind of thing. What else?
You realize this is a fire, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, okay. 1, our apartment's small, so I don't have far to run to grab all these things. And 2, they're all like basically in the same place.
We've had we've had a fire scare before. You did not run up and down grabbing everything.
But I didn't have a plan then, though.
So since
I didn't have a plan.
And I actually didn't have these items then. I didn't have the book and I didn't have the photo album at that point.
Okay.
That was the sassiest eye roll he just did off camera.
Okay.
Yeah, that was so girl coded. It's not even funny.
What did you grab in that fire? I grabbed my hard drive and my laptop.
You actually grabbed things?
I was in the studio.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was in the middle of working on a song, and she burst through the door, and she's like, "The roof is on fire. We have to go."
Was this in Hamilton?
Yeah.
Oh, this is making so much sense.
And I'm not like when
You all
someone
were having lots of scares in that place.
when someone says that to
crazy.
you don't automatically go into what's happening and start asking questions.
You just move.
I just
No, you
believe.
go.
So I pressed save real quick, unplugged the hard drive and the laptop, and then I went. That was it.
I'm crying.
I don't even know what you grabbed.
What did you grab?
I think I grabbed my purse, which was big enough that I could throw my laptop in it. I threw my phone in there. Obviously, my wallet and everything was still in there. What else did I grab? I don't think I grabbed anything else.
Okay. Hence why we've since amended our ways.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. But again, I didn't have those other
Those
things that I
things.
mentioned at that point.
Okay.
So now those would be the things that I would grab. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And then like, yeah, things like my laptop and stuff, like I said, is already in my work bag. So I wouldn't have to go and grab that. It's just already there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think those would be
The things.
yeah, those would be the things, because everything else is just like things that can be replaced easily.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. If my skincare bag was by my work bag that I would already be grabbing, I would shove my skincare bag in there and run out with it. And I'm not even exaggerating. I would.
I'm laughing so hard because I know beyond the shadow of a doubt that
It
you
is
would do something like
100%
that.
true.
Like you would.
Mhm.
You would. Okay. I have not even a hard time picturing that in the least.
Yeah.
Okay.
And forget the makeup.
Yeah,
skincare bag
is paramount.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What about you?
I see this. I'm trying to think. I would grab, actually, funny enough, the first thing I would grab is probably my violin, because it's handmade and it's really it's a really sentimental piece.
Yeah.
It's kind of a flex of a violin, I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
And if push came to shove, this sounds bad because it's sentimental, but like if push came to shove and I had no money, I would have some collateral right there. So I'm grabbing my violin.
What are we talking?
I don't want to say. But
No, say it.
I can bleep it out.
Will you really?
Yeah.
It's. I got it appraised.
Where did this come from?
It was a handmade violin from somebody in Ukraine. There's only 3 in Canada. One is at the Royal Conservatories Museum. One is mine.
Gosh.
And one belongs to another girl who we went to the same church as this guy. And I went and played for him when I was a little kid and he was sick. And he just gave me the violin. They all have names. The rest are spread out across the Ukraine. It's
and there's only how many in total?
Well, I don't know how many there are total. Not many, because he handmade each one. But
right.
In Canada, there's only 3, and one of them is literally in a museum. So yeah, I'm grabbing my violin. I don't even play it that much, but I'm grabbing that thing.
Oh my gosh!
So that would be my first. And that's the last time I got it appraised. That was years ago. So I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Do you keep it maintained? Do you keep up with the maintenance of it?
Not very much. Occasionally, I'll bring it to the sound post and be like, tune her up. But your dad would not be very pleased.
I asked because I literally thought of him.
Yeah. Yeah. I when I take it out, I'll polish it and all these things. But I need to play
fixing
it
the bridge
more.
or whatever. And that
stuff
kind of stuff.
that. I get it. When I'm actively playing it, I go get it maintained. But I've been in a season where I haven't.
Right.
So, yeah. But she's tucked away very safe and sound. Yeah. So I'd grab my violin.
Gosh.
I would grab my Bible. Not because a Bible can't be replaced, but my Bible has it's basically my journal and it's just very sentimental. And I want to get to a point where every page in my Bible is covered with stuff. And so I'm working through that right now. I'm making progress, and it would just be really sad to me. So I would go grab my Bible. And I'm trying to think of what else. I would want to grab photo albums or the bin of cassettes that my dad has of home videos. I think that would be, and you know what though? I would say I would try to grab the home videos over the pictures.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah. But right now, we have volumes of family photo albums. And really what I've been saying I want to do is consolidate everything. And maybe even get it put on a digital something. And now that we're talking about this, I'm okay, I got to do that. Not that I'm planning for a fire, Lord. Not that I'm planning for a fire. But in the event, I would want, knock on wood, I would want to grab those and the videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be my little list. I wouldn't get anything else.
Yeah, it's the things that are irreplaceable.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's funny? At my parents' house, all of their photo albums, well, you've seen it. They keep them in that front closet.
Yes.
Right by the front door.
Is that why?
And it's literally because if there was ever a fire, it's right by the front door. So they would just like be like grabbing the photo albums and like throwing them out the door.
Yeah, but that's assuming that the
Save
fire's not by the
yourself.
front door.
Well,
That would be a pretty weird place. Like of all the places for a fire to start in a
especially
house.
because the kitchen is like towards the back door.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the garage is right there.
I know, but
Yeah.
well, you do what you can, right?
Yeah. Grab the ones that we can. But now that you mentioned it, though, I'm thinking, where are all the videos of all of our like home videos,
Yeah.
like the tapes?
I need to now. No, I have a fire lit under me right now.
Oh my
And, like, I
gosh.
need to go consolidate everything, make sure it's all cataloged,
A fire lit
organized.
under you.
So funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically, what we've just learned is that we need to make sure that things are in order. We got to stand on business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would grab. I honestly can't think of anything else.
Yeah. No, I think that was good.
Yeah. Oh, no, I thought of one other thing.
What?
Okay, so I have a little clay, it's actually a cup, but it looks like a teeny tiny little terracotta bowl almost. And it's from India. Oh my gosh, no, there's two things.
Priya, it's a fire.
Oh my
as
gosh.
EJ so dutifully mentioned. Because there's other things that I'm like, I'll just have to let that go, even though I would really want it. Like, I have a really
No, but this is an
sentimental
irreplaceable
doll
thing.
that I would want. It's so sentimental that I would bawl my eyes out.
Okay, no, forget the cup thing that I was just saying. I have a pot.
Tell me, is this pot for flowers or for beans?
Neither. So it was actually for yogurt.
Oh.
So when my grandpa was growing up in India, they had this pot, and it's what they would make their homemade yogurt in, like for their family. And I don't know how it ended up here, but I now have it. And so I would want to grab that pot because it's not only just like a thing that reminds me and like makes me think of like my grandpa, but it actually came from like his family, and I don't know how long his family had it before he even was born. So it's like, yeah.
No, I see that.
And it's not even like it was from here, like it's from India. I don't even know how it made it here, to be honest.
She's been through it all.
She's seen the world. Exactly. It's a little yogurt pot. But yeah, I would grab that.
Okay. Well, I hope
gets
neither of
added.
us ever have to act on this list. But
Me
I was just
neither.
curious. Yeah. Lord, thank you.
In case of emergencies.
In case of emergencies, yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Big Girl Panties, the podcast where faith meets real life, and we dive into the heart of womanhood. We're your hosts. I'm Shaina. This is Priya, and we invite you to join us on embracing the messy, the complicated, and the beautiful aspects of life through a Christian lens, and put on our big girl panties to tackle the tough stuff together.
You did that well.
Thank you. I've been getting so much better.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah. It's the end one that I'm still a little shaky on, but we'll get there. Okay, so I want us to talk a bit about our ins and outs.
Okay.
Just like currently happening. So I guess better way to describe this is like, what are you loving right now? What are you trying to get rid of? Like, you know, kind of what's on your radar. What are you taking off?
Okay.
So I thought maybe you could give me some of your ins first. Or do you want to do outs first? Which one do you want to do? Take your pick.
Or do you want to just like say both of ours? Like ins,
All
and
your
outs?
ins, all your outs?
Yeah.
We could. I feel like my list got a bit longer than I meant. But you start.
Oh no. Okay, my list is not long.
Okay.
Wait, let me find it. Where's my list? Oh yeah, my list is short.
Oh, okay. I love these, so that's why I went in.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, so my first in is doing my hair
Okay.
because I never do,
Okay.
except for like on Sundays when we record.
Fair.
But I'm not even kidding. Like I wash my hair in the morning, and then I'll actually like style it so it looks decent for when we record. Aside from that one time a few episodes ago, that was not a good hair day.
I liked it. I thought it looked cute.
You know what's funny? In person, it looked okay, but then I was watching it back and I was like, ooh, on camera, that looks like trash.
Let's be nice, not trash. It didn't look the best.
No, it didn't
If you
look
just-
good.
Okay, fine. Whatever.
But okay, in my defense though, again, I think it's because I haven't figured out how to like just
Do your
work
natural
with
texture.
my natural hair. Yeah. But yeah, I never do my hair. Like it's always an afterthought
Mm-hmm.
to like everything else for me. And yeah, on the days that we record, I'll like wash my hair and then do it. And then that's it. Until the next time that I wash my hair.
Yeah.
And
Do it.
yeah.
Okay.
So
So do more hair isn't in.
yeah, like not just like always throwing it up in a messy bun or in a ponytail or whatever.
Okay.
Like, those are great, but just a little bit more
Cool.
effort, you know? Okay, my second in, I only have two, but my second in is butternut squash.
Okay. Yum. I love butternut squash.
I'm in a butternut squash phase right now.
You are. There's been twice I've come over and you've had butternut squash like
Yeah.
sitting that you just finished roasting.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's funny though because it's such a fall food.
yeah,
If it is the season.
yeah. I just feel like I don't. It's interesting because I didn't really like it as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and it's interesting too because it has like a slight sweetness to it. Which
Actually, yeah,
we
that's
know.
so not you.
Yeah. But I think that it's because it's not actually sweet. Like it's not a fruit. Oh, no, wait. No, I did figure this out. Did you know that squashes, oh, wait, no, is it pumpkins? Maybe it's pumpkins, are also a squash and also a gourd and also a fruit?
That checks out though, because they grow on a vine. They have seeds. Like all these
Pumpkins are
things
not
make sense.
squashes.
They're not?
No. They're all gourds.
I love that word, gourd. Jimmy and Jerry Gourd.
Yeah, those guys.
We love them.
Mm-hmm. Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
I remember.
Maybe you need to Google that while I'm sharing my list.
Okay.
Okay,
We'll
but do
come
you
back
wanna,
to this.
Do you want to do your outs or do you want me to do my ins and then you do your outs and I do my outs?
Well, I'll do my outs and then
Okay.
you do both.
Okay,
Yeah.
go for it.
Oh no, but I was gonna say I didn't like it as a kid because it was kind of sweet.
Yeah.
But now that I'm cooking it myself, you can like season it like you would any other vegetable.
Right.
So then it's like
You're not
it
harping on the
makes
sweetness.
sense for it to be with the other things that it's with.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I love this for you.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. Okay, my outs. The rain. I'm over it.
Oh, okay.
I'm just done. Move on.
Okay.
My next one. Oh, prepackaged salads.
Interesting. That's an out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, okay, at least for regular use, I should say.
Okay.
Because I love them. They're so convenient.
They are.
Like, I love them. But all the stuff that's in them, aside from, like, the dressing, which is, like, special to whatever it
salad.
says the flavor is, all the stuff that's in them, you can buy all the things and then cut it up yourself, and it's just way more cost effective,
Yeah.
you know? So for that reason, I'm out.
Okay. I love it.
For regular use. But, like, in general, I still love them. I'll
Yeah.
still get them occasionally, but,
Okay.
you know. Okay, my last out. I really had to think long and hard about this one.
Your list.
I
Is
had to
putting
do
me
some inner work.
Shame for starters, but go ahead. My list is so long.
I think that's really funny. But that makes sense, though,
It does.
for two of us. Okay, my last out is shimmery eyeshadows.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I still like them.
I was gonna say, huh?
And if you see me wearing them, it's because
Mind your
I still
business.
like them. Yeah.
Okay, so why are they out?
I'm not being a
then?
hypocrite. Because I think just for like regular day-to-day makeup. I mean, okay, well, I don't really do my makeup day to day anyway, but like when I do my makeup, I've kind of just been into more of like a using more of like a tint,
Okay.
like a brown like liquid tint on my eyes, and just like really quickly like blending that out. But it doesn't have any shimmer to it. It's more of like a matte-ish or like a satin kind of a finish.
Mm-hmm.
And so it gives a little bit, it's like a dark brown. So it gives like kind of a smoky-ish kind of a vibe. It's not like a full-on smoky eye, but it's just not like light and bright,
Okay.
you know?
Okay.
I'm not wearing it today. But
Oh, I was literally
yeah,
inspecting your
I could
eyelids.
see you
I was
looking.
like, it's not giving smoky like you promised.
No. Liar. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of what I'm into
That's been your vibe.
right now. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I still like the shimmery eyeshadows, obviously. Like, they're pretty.
yeah.
But
Everything in its season.
yeah, it's just kind of not my current vibe.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
take it.
This feels so weird for me to say that. I feel like I had to do like soul searching to actually write that down.
You're like, I might
Felt
regret
wrong
this.
for me to say.
It's okay. No one's going to hold you against it. I promise.
I hope not.
Yeah. Did you?
That's it.
That's
all
it?
I got.
Okay. Okay. My ins. Goat cheese and big salads. I kind of fell off of cheese and salads for a while there, but a goat cheese and a salad hits. Especially with
Goat
like
cheese is
summertime
so
coming
good.
up soon. So good.
Goat cheese or feta? Pick one.
But I like to get goat cheese feta or like goat milk's feta. So I get best of both worlds. I do
Okay.
that on purpose because I
Alright.
can't choose.
Okay.
I have 5 a.m. Jesus hour / Bible and prayer journal before my phone. That's something I'm really working on doing. So I think it's kind of fun. And so that's an in for me. I have acknowledging and accepting emotions before I decide what to do with them. This is a big one because I tend to be like, oh, you shouldn't feel that way. You shouldn't think that way. So I'm trying to pedal it back and say, okay, this is how I feel and that's okay. Now what do I want to do with it? So that's an in.
That's good.
More steps in movement, but in ways that I enjoy. So yeah, not getting sucked into like, oh, this is the workout I should be doing or whatever. I have more fun fizzy drinks in fun glasses.
Ooh, I love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been like really into the Thirsty Buddha sparkling coconut waters lately. The watermelon one is amazing. And like pour that up in like a nice cute little glass. And it's so exciting. Oh, so yeah, I'll say that. Dinners, just more dinners, dinner parties, going out for dinner, being cute at dinner, like dinner.
Okay.
So weird. Turning off my notifications and putting on do not disturb mode, which do not disturb, I feel like I do a lot for work, but I mean like in general, turning off my Instagram notifications, turning off like all the notifications. Solo days or dates, buying myself flowers, having a bedtime for my phone. So it has a time when it goes to bed.
That's so cute.
More grandma hobbies. So like knitting, crocheting, needle pointing. Like I was knitting the other day, had a blast. So more knitting, more grandma hobbies, and then more reading until I fall asleep.
Oh my gosh.
That's my list of ins.
I love your list. And I think
Thank
it's
you.
hilarious how like deep your list was. And I'm like, butternut squash.
No, but I liked your list too. This is a personality check, okay?
No, truly it is.
Yeah. Oh, did I say buying myself flowers? That's an important one.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, good. Because it's very important.
I'm all for that.
Me too. I've made it a tradition. I buy myself flowers every Friday. It's
I
very
like
fun.
that.
Yeah, I
That's
like
cute.
it. Okay, outs. Colorful pedicures. I'm over it. I'm done. It's a French pedicure or nothing.
That's a hot take.
It is a hot take. And I stand on it. Like, yeah.
So wait. What do you mean by colorful?
Like, don't put pink or blue. For me. But
But like what kind of pink?
anything that's not Bubble Bath by OPI.
But that's kind of pink.
Yeah, but it's like a sheer pink. I'm saying colorful. Colorful,
Okay.
think like neon pink toes or like orange or red or like, you know how in the summertime I feel like people get into colorful pedicures? I used to do that in the past. And then every time I see a picture of myself with a colorful pedicure,
Yeah.
I hate it. So as for the near future, as far as I can tell.
Until
It's
further
French
notice.
pedicures and French pedicures only. Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, no, the reason why that perplexes me is because I feel like there's like a
I love how-
gradient.
Like, you're so like, oh no, about this
No,
one. It's
because
so
I'm like,
funny.
what's the line between pink and nude?
No primary colors. It must be sheer. And it must not. I will take sheer pinks, sheer beiges,
Okay.
or clear white tip. The end.
What about like totally white?
No, that's too much.
Like too bright because it's totally white, or like,
Yeah.
okay.
It needs to be like subtle, low key. I just need to look like my
Okay.
feet are naturally gorgeous without any help.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Next. Waiting for the perfect time to do fun things. Just I'm done with that. If something fun comes up, I'm just gonna do it. Taking on my max capacity. I'm done with that. Or above.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can do a lot, but I don't have to always hit my max. Music that doesn't make me feel good and at peace. I'm out with it. I'm being very like conscious about what I'm listening to, and it's been going well. Saying yes when I want to say no is another out. I'm done. I'm not doing that.
That's a really good one.
It is, and it's hard. I have to check myself constantly. Pushing aside things that are a priority to me, even if they're not to other people. That's got to go. Late nights, I'm done. I hate late nights. I want to be in bed at 8 p.m. unless I'm at a fun dinner. Eating when I'm not hungry. Girl dinner. Yeah, eating when I'm not hungry. I feel like sometimes it's like, oh, it's dinner time. I'm supposed to eat something. But if I'm not hungry, why am I forcing it? It just makes my tummy hurt. So no. Scrolling before bed. I don't like when I do it. I'm, again, putting my phone to bed. Being scared to look cringe is something I'm trying to be done with. So what if I look a little cringy? Like, who cares?
But
Like, mind your
cringy,
business.
How?
Like,
For what?
I'm thinking specifically in the context of, like, I'm always scared to post things on social media. Like, if I, like, made a cute little video or, like, I took a fun photo, because I'm just, like, or if I, like, do, like, a little talking video or, like, a little haul or something, because I'm like, no one, like, this is embarrassing. Like, I don't want people to be like, what are you trying to do? Be an influencer? And it's like, well, actually, yes, because those girls make bank. But anyway, I'm tired of, like.
In fact, I am.
Yeah, like, what about it? I'm just tired of not doing fun things that you want to do because you're afraid of what it looks like to other people. Like, it's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we doing that? If you don't want to look, scroll past or look past or don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Like, that's that.
Like, preferably the latter.
Yeah.
You sound like you've been hanging out with me too much.
No, like, you're rubbing off. Actually, though. Okay, I'm put excusing the behavior of others, but not to the point where I have to confront them about it. So if
It's
you
fine.
did something and it really annoyed me or like hurt my feelings, a lot of the times I would be like, oh, well, like she had a reason for that. Like I would excuse your behavior and make up all the reasons as to why that happened. I'm trying to do more of, you know what? When Priya did that, it really bothered me. And like, I can tolerate that. I don't necessarily, if I decide I want to talk to you about it, that's another thing. But I'm trying not to just like make up all the reasons as to why that was okay. And rather just be like, yeah, she did that and it bothered me and that's okay. That it bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Mismatched pajamas are out. I'm sorry, Priya.
Dang.
Yeah. I'm matching pajamas only. And
I can't get behind that one. I'm sorry.
I know. I knew you wouldn't, but it's okay. Mismatched pajamas are out for me. And then in general, just I don't want to why am I getting all tongue-tied? My final out is wearing clothes just because I have them and not because I love them. So basically I need to clear out my closet again. And
Shopping
that's my
trip.
list.
It's a good excuse to go shopping.
Yeah, but I want to try shopping my closet a bit more first. And like when I do that clearing out items, first of all, that, yeah, I'm just not going to use. But also, if I'm keeping something, I need to be able to figure out at least 4 ways to style it that look very different. That's my goal. It's not going to be easy.
Are you into that whole capsule wardrobe idea?
I would like to be. I feel like my work wardrobe is quite capsule.
Yeah.
But then it's not always for the rest of my stuff. But ideally, I would be like the majority of my staples is like very capsule wardrobe coded. And then I'd have a few like fun pieces.
Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe I'd like.
I like that.
Yeah.
I feel like doing the capsule wardrobe thing is pretty easy to do when it comes to like
workwear.
workwear.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But I also kind of realized I like when workwear is dressed up or down to be more like streetwear. Like, I like that vibe.
Yeah. Which is totally the vibe right now.
Exactly.
I'm into it.
Yeah. So I
like
think
it
I think
too.
it's achievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are my ins and outs.
I feel like I really need to go and like do some deep thinking. Okay. You're talking about like personal and emotional, like personal boundaries and emotional growth and like all this kind of stuff. And I'm, yeah,
Squash.
You think because Shaina journals, that makes a difference?
Maybe. But you've
That's
also been thinking
interesting.
about this for a lot longer than I have, though.
When I
she also
texted you,
journals
that's when
every
I
day.
started my list.
Oh,
When did you start your list? When I texted you?
after you texted me.
So we started at the same time.
Maybe I do need to go do some deep thinking.
This is like a brain dump. Like, I feel like I could have done better too, honestly.
I don't want to know what your better would have been. Dang.
Yeah, I am though. I do journal a lot, and I don't know if that is a reason at all. I don't know. Or it could just be that like we understood the assignment differently.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that might be
I
it.
think that I did when you texted me that we should do our ins and outs. I think I did take it in more of like a lighthearted kind of a way.
I feel like this is lighthearted. Wait, I'm like, did we miscommunicate? I'm so sorry.
That's lighthearted?
Yeah.
Dang.
Like, I think so.
Wow.
Anyway.
It's medium-hearted.
Oh,
Medium-hearted?
medium-hearted.
What would be deep-hearted?
Like, it wasn't like intense, where like I can't even think of something intense, but it wasn't light. There was a lot of like very introspective things in there.
Oh. I felt like I only had like one or two.
I can tell because that's how my list would have sounded.
Like whose?
That's how yours would have sounded?
Yeah,
Like Shayna's?
Yeah.
Oh, like
Yeah.
mine.
Minus the girly stuff.
Okay, what would yours be?
Like some of them I do now.
What are your ins and outs? Yeah.
Some of the stuff you picked, I do now.
Yeah.
Like, don't eat when you're not hungry. That's
Yeah.
important. Like a lot of just self-care.
Yeah.
But self-care is deep.
Okay, if
Mine
I
is
had
very
been
self-care
thinking
heavy,
of it,
actually.
yeah, if I had been thinking about it differently, I actually would have put that on my outs.
Not eating.
Not
if
eating
you're-
when you're not hungry.
when you're not hungry. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing how like simple that sounds, but we don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, it's dinner time. I must eat. Like, no, you don't have to. Eat when
not
you're hungry.
even-
Stop when you're full.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
But that's actually a difficult thing.
Oh, it's very hard.
Yeah.
That's why it's on the list. Yeah.
And not even just like, oh, it's dinner time, so I have to eat even though I'm not hungry. Even just like I'm
Snacking
bored,
and,
so
like-
I'm gonna eat something.
Yeah. Definitely.
What are your ins and outs?
Yeah. Give us a couple.
Me?
Yeah, now that you're in the conversation.
You guys had a day to think about it.
No, I texted her this before I came over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I got
No, I had
excuse.
like 10 minutes to think about it.
I've been trying to stop scrolling, like before bed and in the morning too. But I like the phone bedtime one. I might steal that.
It's good.
You know this, Priya. I've been trying to say that we gotta get off our phones in bed, but we don't. What else is out for
I
me?
am bad.
Carbs are out.
True.
Get rid of carbs.
I'm like nodding while I know full well I'm not getting rid of carbs. But
I
I,
won't
eat
be
them
doing
in
that.
moderation. Like,
No, and yes.
yeah.
And
But
like,
I know EJ's going like hardcore right now.
yeah. And so
'Cause
for
that
you,
works-
sugar
that
too.
works for
Sugar's
you.
out for you.
Yeah, carbs and sugar are gone.
How's that been going?
I feel fine.
Good.
Yeah.
I feel like people are going to be so curious. Like they might want to do it too.
Do it. I see. I've done it before.
Yeah.
So like it's not new to me. But I will say, in doing this, it helps you with the hunger, not eating when you're full, because you realize how you just pay attention more to when you're actually hungry, because you're not stuffing on carbs. So you sit there, I'm like, oh, I just had like a little bowl of, I don't know, salad, whatever. And then for the next like 3 hours or 4, I'm like, I'm not hungry. And then Priya will come home and be like, want to eat dinner? I'm like, no, I actually don't. And I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do miss ice cream. Not gonna lie. But what else is out for me? This is hard.
I love talking about this stuff though. Like I'm just so nosy. I'm like, tell me everything.
I
This is hard.
Know.
I might have to do like cuts between my pauses to actually think about it.
Okay.
Discipline is in for me. See, it's tough for me because like I'm just always on a journey of doing this. So like it's not like it's a season thing. It's just like I discover something that needs to go. So I'm like, all right, you're out.
But that's exactly what it is though. Like that's the point.
Like 5 a.m. The 5 a.m. thing you said.
Yeah.
That's on my list.
Yeah.
You know, the plan is to wake up. Actually, for me, it's like 6, maybe 5:30. But the first hour is Bible, journal, spending time before the world wakes up, and just like being alone with God. There's something about waking up before the world does.
Oh my word, it hits.
And then not having your phone or TV or the distractions of like life. And when you just stay quiet and still, and the only thing you can hear is God, it's like makes my day go a little bit better.
I agree.
I don't know. That's it. I might have more, but I don't want to hold up the pod.
Okay.
It's good.
It was good. Yours too. Even though you're like, I liked yours.
Thanks.
It
I mean, butternut squash
it
for
was
me
good.
too, I guess.
Yeah, it is
'Cause you
in
would
for
make
you
it.
because it's in for me.
Pancakes are out.
Oh,
That's so sad because pancakes were about to be in for me because you kept making them for us. And I was like, oh.
I've decided to have quarterly carb days.
Okay.
Every 3 months.
Okay.
I'll have a day of enjoying my carbs and maybe some ice cream. But
That feels a little more sustainable than what your original plan was.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
it's better than having pancakes every Sunday. Post-pod. I just like pancakes.
I'm
I
gonna
really
miss
liked
that,
our
though.
post-pod pancakes.
It was really awesome.
Like we were about to make that a thing.
Yeah.
Post-pod pancakes?
We could do paleo pancakes, like I said. They're still delicious.
Yeah, but
They're really good.
I need to be convinced.
I don't like good
Yeah.
versions of bad food.
You don't.
I hate it. Like
This is a hot take.
Don't give me a healthy alternative to ice cream. I either want ice cream or nothing.
Okay, I'm not as hardcore as you, but to me it depends on what it is.
Go deeper. I'm still thinking.
Like, okay, for example, don't give me a...
A veggie hot dog. No I'm kidding.
No, don't give me that. I don't want that. Don't give it to me. Get it away from me. But like, don't give me, for example, like a raw vegan brownie, and it's like blended up nuts and cocoa powder and like dates, and call it a brownie and give it to me. Like that's
I
not a
love
brownie.
those.
I'm not saying that it wouldn't taste good.
No, I'm just laughing because I'm like, okay, I guess I'm on the opposite end because I didn't. Yeah, keep going. I'm sorry.
I'm not saying that it wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
I'm sure that it could be, and I would probably like it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, don't hand that to me and be like, "Here's a brownie."
Oh, I don't think you should like market
It's
it
not.
as. Yeah.
That is lies and deceit.
It's like vegan oxtail.
They have that?
Yeah.
See, aside from like a vegan burger, like a Beyond Burger, I don't really like the whole simulated meat thing. Like it's okay every once in a while, but like either eat meat or don't. like that's how I feel. But in terms of like the brownie or like when I said fun fizzy drinks, I'm thinking about like a Poppy or like a Cove where it's like a prebiotic healthy soda and it doesn't have all the sugar in it. And like I love those or like the Thirsty Buddha drink I was talking about. But yeah, when it comes to meat and fish, I'm kind of like either eat it or don't, with the exception of a occasional veggie burger. Yeah.
Oh, I think if I had to add something to my ins list,
Yes.
I would say mocktails.
Did I not say mocktails? I meant
Well,
to.
you said like fun drinks.
Okay.
Which
That's
Mocktails
always
are-
been in for you, though.
Yeah, Priya is the queen of a good mocktail. You really are.
and like I love a good cocktail.
Yeah.
Love. But, you know, for just like a chill Tuesday night,
Yeah.
mocktail.
Mocktail.
It's the vibe.
Yeah.
And I do really like it.
You're good at making them too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, like the whole healthy alternatives thing, it depends on what it is.
That's fair. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that with that then, like I have to just call it what it is.
Yeah, like don't say I made brownies and give people that. Like that I wouldn't do. That's cruel.
Yeah. Like, you know, okay, I'll say a big one. So, I like ice cream too. Not as much as EJ. But I like ice
I don't
cream
know if
too.
anyone likes it as much as EJ.
No one does.
No one does. No one does. You know, like the Halo, what's it called? Halo Top?
Halo
or
Top.
Ice cream?
Yeah.
And it's like the low sugar, low fat, no dairy,
Yeah.
whatever. I can't do it.
Oh, see, I like that stuff.
I don't like it because I compare it to actual ice cream, which is what it's trying to be. And it's absolutely not the same.
Yeah.
So like that kind of stuff, I can't do.
I think, and I know we have to wrap this up, but I think now that you're saying that, a part of the reason I'm so open to it is just because of how I ate growing up.
Yeah.
Like my
makes
family
sense.
was like, I never had real ice cream. We had like cashew ice cream, banana ice cream. Rude and disrespectful. No, I'm kidding.
But like actually though.
We had like things like that, or we had like buckwheat pancakes instead of real pancakes. Like, so I think I'm a bit more
Open to
just
it.
used to it.
That
I
makes sense
get
for
that.
you.
Yeah, but thanks for sharing your ins and outs. I liked them. EJ, thank you for yours too. If you guys have ins and outs, please share them with us in the comments. We want to know.
I'm actually really curious.
Yeah,
to be
I have
honest.
to know actually. We're nosy. So drop them in the comments.
I am nosy.
Mm-hmm.
Without shame.
Yeah.
I'm nosy.
Yeah, no.
And what
just
I
a
find
statement, full
out,
stop.
yeah, what I find out, like, will die with me. Like, I will take it to the grave. Nobody will ever know what I find out.
Yeah. But
But
you
I,
need to
I
find
just
out.
like knowing things. For me, myself, and I.
to feel whole.
Just inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah.
Mine, specifically.
Yeah. So save Priya. Drop your ins and outs. I love it.
Okay, let's talk about our BGP moments.
Okay.
Brag on ourselves for a second.
Go ahead, sis.
Or maybe not. Who knows?
I actually learned that I'm trash. Go for it. Tell me.
Okay, my BGP moment is, it's not huge. Actually, it's funny. We were talking about food before, and it kind of has to do with food.
Okay.
But I've been really proud of the way that I've been eating lately,
Okay.
because I think that for a while I had just kind of like adopted some bad habits.
Mm-hmm.
But so I've been working on like just my approach to eating, I guess, because I'm on this medication that kind of can like decrease your appetite a little bit as like one of the side effects. And I have noticed that. And so I kind of just decided that like I should probably be fairly intentional about what I'm eating, because if I'm like not eating basically as much or as many times throughout the day, because again, if I'm not really, really hungry, then I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to force myself to like stuff my face. Then like what I do eat, I should be intentional about it being like as nutritious and good for me as possible. Like, not to sound like diet culture-y, like, you know, I'll still eat the fun things here and there, but for the most part,
Yeah. Wanting to nourish your body is never diet culture, though. Like wanting to put
exactly.
nourishing things into your body. That's
yeah,
very different.
Yeah. And I think that is just really like the mindset that I've been on is like, okay, what can I eat that's going to be nourishing and like going to be good and like make me feel good. And so, yeah, I've just been really mindful of that, and I do feel good, and I've really been liking like what I've been doing. Butternut squash is a part of that.
Yay.
So yeah, it feels good. Like I feel good, and I like knowing that when I do eat, I'm putting good things into my body.
Okay.
Like mentally, it's a good feeling.
I love that. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple food, but
Vital.
yeah.
And I mean, to take it there, especially for women, I think it's really hard to strike a good, healthy balance and know that I'm not being too restrictive, but I am trying to nourish myself, but it's okay to like have a treat and all those things. So it's there's a lot more to it than just like, oh yeah, I'm looking at what I'm eating and being XYZ about it. Like there's so many layers.
Yeah, I think that is kind of a balance that I have been trying to find, because there have been times in my life where I have felt like I've been very restrictive. And like, how do I phrase this? Like unhealthily aware of like what I'm eating. And I just haven't had the best mindset towards it. And so I think, yeah, part of this whole thing right now is trying to find that balance of like not wanting to be really restrictive because I don't need to be, but also just being mindful of putting good things into my body and finding the balance of like, you know, when is it okay to indulge in something that's like not nutritious but like is just delicious.
Yeah.
And if I do that, how much?
Yeah.
So yeah,
good for you. I love that.
It's me.
Yeah.
What about you?
Mine. Okay, I have backstory first. It's not a lot.
I love a good backstory. I really do, actually.
I know you're the queen of backstory, though.
You'll probably never get a story from me without the backstory.
No, otherwise it's not a story from Priya ever.
No.
This past weekend, I went on a little road trip. We went to Michigan to see Tori Kelly, the Purple Skies tour.
So fun.
If you have not seen Tori Kelly live, you are missing a crucial part of your life.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? She was phenomenal, for starters. But it was just, it was, I'll say impromptu, meaning that the girls I went with, like, it kind of came up as at first it was just like, oh my gosh, like, what if we went? And then it was kind of like wait, what if we went? And yes, we planned and all that, but by my standards, it was impromptu and very spontaneous. And like we went, we had a great time. It was so much fun. Memories were made. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it. With that, I think my BGP moment, because I, of course, in true me fashion, had to reflect upon the whole trip and like, what did I learn? I don't know why I'm like that, but I am. And I recognized how my typical thought pattern would have prevented me from going, because it wasn't the perfect timing. And like, did I really deserve it? Had I been doing enough to deserve this? Like all these different things that would have made me think, like, don't go now. Or like, you could save that money for something else or whatever. And so one, I'm just proud of myself at the fact that I just did it anyway, because it was again, so much fun, thoroughly enjoyed my time, all that stuff. But second, it just kind of reminded me of how important it is to just take breaks and do things you enjoy and like enjoy opportunities that come up, because for so much of my life, I've been very just like say no to things that are enjoyable because I'm busy. Like I've been very, the academic journey that I have been on since like literally grade 8, I was like, can't come over, can't do this, can't play because I need to get into university. Like I've always been very like, about stuff, and that translated through, you know, undergrad, grad school, now at work. And so the fact that I was able to do that and not feel guilty about it the whole trip, and just kind of be like, no, like, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm having fun, and that's okay. Like, yeah, I might be tired when I get back on Monday, and like, you know, seeing clients all day on Monday might be kind of hard, but this is worth it. I'm just proud of myself for doing that. And it's important to rest and take breaks and have fun and enjoy things, even if it's not the most perfect time or circumstances aren't like optimal for it. Like, be wise, but it's okay to do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was mine.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So this was like a stop and smell the roses
Yes.
thing for you.
Pretty much.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good, because I know that you're not like that. You haven't usually been like that.
Yeah.
You've been like, gotta make it to the end. If there's roses when I get to the end, then great.
Yeah.
But I will not be stopping to smell any of these.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's actually a really good way to put it, Priya. Yeah. It was just so fun.
I
And-
love that for you. Because
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I want to do more of that.
Did she do Falling Slow?
No, I really was hoping she would. She took a crowd request, and I was like screaming, "Falling Slow!" And like, I wanted her to do Falling Slow or Funny. She did Confetti though, and it did hit because she brought out her guitar. And Tori Kelly's fire. She's so pretty. Her voice isn't
She is so
amazing.
pretty.
She sounds way better live. Like, she was just so humble. Like, the crowd was like like, that was the loudest crowd I've ever seen in my life. And she just was like up there like blushing. Like, she looked so like, oh my gosh, you guys are here for me. Like, it was really cute. Yeah. But she did not do Falling Slow. No.
Guess you'll have to go see her again.
I fully plan to go see her in Toronto.
Oh, true.
She's coming to Toronto in October.
Yeah.
You shall find me there.
Would you ever do a meet and greet?
I've thought about it.
Like, let's say the meet and greet ticket was like 500.
No. You know what? I think because I have in my head, I'm like, and this is so delusional, but if I had to meet Tori Kelly, I don't want it to be in a situation where everyone else is meeting Tori Kelly and I'm just a person that she met. Like, I just get grouped in with like all the fangirls. Like, I want her and I to meet one day for some specific reason. And it's like, oh my gosh, I met this girl named Shaina. She was so cool. Will that ever happen? 1,000% no.
But you know
would
what?
you
I get
do-
that though.
What would you do if you open your what is it? Therapy that you do?
Yeah.
Your therapy schedule, and you see someone booked an appointment and it was Tori Kelly.
See, a whole different part of my brain would turn on though. So I wouldn't even be like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be excited in that way. I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, this is about to be Tori Kelly. Like, when
You
I
go
tell
into
you when
work mode.
an entirely different part of your brain turns on. So I might for a second, when I opened the video chat and like saw her and her curly hair gorgeousness sitting right there.
Yeah.
I might have a second where I'm like, whoa. But then I think I would go right into work mode. Yeah. And that happens with clients all the time. Like, sometimes a client comes on and you're like, holy cow, you're cool. Like, just right off the bat. And you can't do anything about it. You just be like, hello there. Hi.
Why can't you do anything? Like, why can't you be cool back?
I mean, like, okay, I'm saying this full well. Like, I will tell somebody, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I love your outfit, or oh, your hair is so cool, or like, I will say that to people because at the end of the day, we're both humans. But when I say be cool about it, I mean, don't let it interfere with the way you're about to interact with them in their therapeutic space. Like, I'm there to assist them in whatever they're doing, so I don't want to impede on that.
Yeah. There's a professional boundary that you have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But going back,
That's it.
I think meet and greets are weird. That's my hot take.
Okay, how so?
Because I think that paying whatever it would be, it's really expensive to do those. Like, let's just say like $800 to do like the concert and then the meet and greet. I just think it's kind of weird. Because like for what? Because when you think about it, you're getting to meet them, but you're not really getting to meet them.
Which is what I was saying.
Yeah, like
definitely.
you're in a whole line full of people. That person, whatever celebrity artist that you've paid to meet, is exhausted after their performance. They probably don't actually really want to be doing that.
It's usually before the performance, the meet and greet.
Okay, before. Still, they're probably exhausted and anticipating this whole performance that they have to do. Mm-hmm. And then you're in a whole line of people. You get like funneled up, and then it's your turn. And then you go say hi and give them a hug, and oh my gosh, I've loved you for so long. And then they go, oh my gosh, you're so sweet, thank you, haha. And then you take your picture, and then in 45 seconds the whole thing is over.
Okay, so hold up, picture this with me for a minute.
Okay.
Big Girl Panties hits the next level. Okay Big Girl Panties goes international. Big Girl Panties starts doing live shows. A dream of mine. Okay. Mm-hmm. Would you not want to do meet and greets with you now being the talent in the situation?
It's a very bizarre thought. Because who do I think I am?
I'm not saying who do you think you are. I'm saying if the opportunity arose and that was your reality, would you be like, ew, that's weird, I don't want us to offer that?
No, I think that would be really cool. I can't lie.
I think artists feel the exact same way. I think they actually do. Especially for somebody who, again, as amazing as Tori Kelly is, she's still considered a smaller artist. I think people like that still are like, holy cow, yes.
I guess.
And a lot of artists will provide a meet and greet experience that's worth to the people paying for it.
Yeah.
Like Chris Brown, for example. We all know I'm a big Chris Brown fan. I would never pay for a meet and greet for Chris Brown, just so you know. But at his meet and greets, he does spend a lot of time. He gives out less tickets so he can have more intimate time with the people who are paying and give them an actual, you're not just passing through saying, hey, but, we can kick it for a bit, kind of thing.
But, okay, that's good.
It's like kick it and do what?
But, what is a bit?
I don't know. I've never been.
3 minutes as opposed to 45 seconds?
I feel like they're longer than 3 minutes.
I think it's almost an hour.
Okay.
And when you think about it, how much he normally makes in an hour of his time just working, paying for that hour.
Mm-hmm. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wouldn't pay for it either.
It would feel weird to me. I don't think I could ever.
I don't think I would either, but I don't think that the artist or whoever it is, the talent in question, is like, ugh, these stupid people. I think that they're probably into it too, to an extent, or they're at least just really grateful. Look at these people who are here and actually want to meet me. And so I would, if somebody I knew was like, oh, I really want to do this, and I had the means to get them a VIP ticket or something so they could have a meet and greet, I would do it immediately. But I also don't know, for me, I also get kind of weirded out with being so sometimes it gives, how do I say this? I think that there needs to be a good boundary, because one, just because there's this person you admire, the celebrity, doesn't mean they actually owe you anything, and you should remember your place. But two, I think that I'm very cautious about, I could really, really, again, I love Tori Kelly, but I'm very cautious about how much, and I think idolatry is something, basically the word I would use. I think there's boundaries.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't see the need to do that. It'd be cool. And to be honest, if somebody gave me a VIP ticket where I could do that, yeah, I'm going.
For sure, yeah.
But I don't think I would bend over backwards and spend money I didn't have for it, is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a fair point, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I think putting anybody on
that high pedestal,
too high of a pedestal is
dangerous.
Weird.
Yeah.
I agree.
You wouldn't save up $3,000 to go see your favorite artist?
$3,000?
$3,000?
No.
$3,000?
No, I really don't think so. Because I could spend that money and end up in Europe. Why? No.
That.
Yeah, it's
that.
not.
I know someone who did that.
$3,000?
Yes.
I guess I can't ask right now. We're mic'd. I'm like, tell me.
No, who?
You want me to believe it?
Yeah, believe it.
I'll believe that too.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to go to that. Saw the ticket prices, and I was like, probably not.
Anyway, back to us. Wait.
Can I please have that played on loop? Anyway, back to us. It was
That
the
I
sass-
didn't.
It was the.
mean
It gave
that the way
Miranda
it sounded.
Priestley. It gave Miranda Priestley.
Ah,
You said that so unbothered. Anyway, back to
that's
us.
all.
That's all.
That's all. Wait, that's no. I didn't mean it that,
That was
way.
no, but that was iconic.
That's
and
hilarious.
I cannot wait to hear that back.
Oh my gosh. Oops.
That part stays.
Oy, oy, oy. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, as for me
And my house.
and my house,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I get that.
It'd be weird. I
Yeah.
don't think I could do it.
You don't want to lose the mystique too of the artist.
I agree.
Like, I don't want to meet Chris because
And then be
I like his
disappointed.
music.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to keep liking the music.
Yeah.
I feel the same.
Yeah. But I also think that I'm the type of person to like I could like admire somebody, but I'm not the type to like go crazy fangirl about anybody.
I agree.
And so I think because of that, paying all of that money for a meet and greet to me would feel like I'm going crazy fangirl, which
Yeah.
I'm just that like that's
You're just
just
not about
not
it.
me.
Yeah, I agree. Because even things like, you know how people know like people, the names of their dogs, the names of where they grew up, where they went to high school. I'm like, pardon?
Yeah.
Like, why do I need to know that? No, I don't want to know.
Kind of creepy.
Like, there's things I know just because I've been a fan for a long time, and like things that she'll like say that everybody knows, but I don't know all the deep stuff. I don't really.
mm-hmm.
That's none of my business. Yeah, I wouldn't. I like again that word, the mystique about it. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
The only way I would want to meet Tori is if somehow the Lord made a way, and somehow I was doing a collaboration with her in some way.
Oh my
That would be it. I've always said that, like,
That'd be
even with
amazing.
celebrity crushes, you know, I'm always like, I don't have a celebrity crush. Because to me, I'm like, well, what is the point of me wasting my energy on somebody who does not like me back?
Mm-hmm.
Like, will never, doesn't know who I am. Like, I don't have the time or the energy. And I feel like it translates over into this too.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Next. So we need to have a part 2
Okay.
to our conversation a couple weeks ago, where we talked about the Stronger Men's Conference and Mark Driscoll and the whole Jezebel spirit calling out the circus performer thing.
Is he a circus performer? Somehow the word circus always makes me laugh. I'm sorry. I'm derailing us already.
Acrobat performer.
Ignore me. Yes. I'm so sorry. It just like,
No, but I don't want to be rude to the guy and call him a circus performer if that's not.
I don't think he is, but yeah.
Okay, I didn't mean that.
Moving on.
Gymnastics performance.
Sure.
Because new information has come to light. So basically, it has now come out that he has written a book and is releasing a book. And the book is all about how the Jezebel spirit is destroying the American church. So specifically, let's find the screenshot. Okay, so the book is called New Days Old Demons. And it says how the evil Jezebel spirit is destroying the American church and what you need to know to fight back. So he's promoting this in a tweet that's like all in the graphic. And then his actual tweet says, what is the Jezebel spirit and how is she destroying the American church? Today we pull back the veil on the demonic. So the reason why this is a part 2 is because this is all coming out now after that conference happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving publicity stunt. It's giving manufactured. It's giving. Yeah.
Which briefly, just before you go further, we talked about this, 2 episodes back? In case you didn't catch part 1. It's called Mojo Dojo Casa Church.
Casa Church, yeah.
Yeah, so
House.
in case you want to get caught up. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So it made me think. I think it's pretty obvious that whole situation was very inauthentic and was a publicity stunt and was manufactured to promote the now release of his book.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think, okay, maybe we should talk about this whole Jezebel spirit thing. And like, actually, I mean, we kind of talked about our feelings about it before, but we didn't dig into it. And it made me think that maybe we should, because apparently this is a thing. Apparently this is a stereotype, a term, whatever, that's being thrown out there and talked about. Generally speaking, but it's a female name, and in the context that it was brought up in before by Mark Driscoll in this whole situation at the conference, it was brought up in relation to women. He dragged women into that whole conversation in his rebuke.
Okay.
So to speak. So we've done some digging.
Yeah.
I think we should talk about it.
Sure. 2 questions before.
Mm-hmm.
1, do you think it was actually set up as an entire publicity stunt, or do you think that Mark Driscoll went up there with that being his rebuke because he's been writing this book and so his mind is on it? 2nd, what was the 2nd? Okay, forget the 2nd. Just 1, I guess, for now. I don't know the other one. I had it on the tip of my tongue.
With the way that I remember things, I can only handle one.
Yeah, so it's fine. No one's judging.
No, I do think that it was a publicity stunt.
2nd, is that a confirmed thing, or is that like a tweet that like somebody threw out there to stir the pot? Like, we know for sure.
No, like
this
he
is a book,
tweeted that.
and we know for sure.
Yeah, like that.
Like, is there a publishing company that's talked about this book at all?
Oh, I have not looked at a publishing company.
I'm just curious.
But that was his tweet. That wasn't like something that somebody else wrote. Like, he wrote that.
Yeah.
That was him.
Oh, EJ's giving us some research here. Okay. Prophetic study of sex, gender, work politics, and how progressive Christianity is just a rebranding of ancient paganism. The same demons that were active in the days of Elijah are active today, castrating the men, mutilating the children, closing the churches, and silencing the Bible teachers. We're fighting back by self-publishing this book when no one else would, because it's a prophetic message for pathetic times. Sorry.
That's a bar.
This book reads like the book of Revelation meets a death metal band in a cage fight on Halloween.
Oh, okay. So I hear like
It's giving monster
like,
trucks and
yeah, I was gonna
fireworks
say the monster
and
trucks make
big
so much sense
pictures
now.
of motorcycles.
What I think is interesting, because he's saying the same demons that were active in the days of Elijah, and so we know Elijah and Jezebel, they're all in the same story.
Mm-hmm.
But then he brings up the book of Revelation.
he said this book reads
like
as if the book of Revelation met a meth metal band.
Yes.
But
what I was about to say with that, not that he's bringing up both, but like it's very clear that he's talking about Old Testament stuff, like days of Elijah. That's what I meant to say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
He's also calling this whole book a prophetic word.
Pop off.
Which is, that's...
and you know what? The thing is, like, let me not like laugh and be like, haha, because I have not read the book. I don't think I plan to. But,
nor will I.
I kind of want to read it.
Report back, because I don't think I could do that. But I don't like saying like, oh, like that person didn't hear from God, because I don't know what his conversations with God are like. So I always feel like I want to tread softly there. Like, you know what I mean?
I agree. But I also think that you will know them by your fruit or by their fruit.
Yeah.
And if we look at the fruit,
The fruit is not fruiting.
it's not fruiting.
Okay, so either way.
It's not very fruity.
We have now, so we have this recap. This is what the book is about. It says it's self-published, so I'm assuming that means it's already out. You could buy it on Kindle, apparently. It was self-published, which might say a lot, considering his other books are not self-published, if I'm correct in that. Don't quote me.
No, it would make sense if the other ones were not self-published, but this one is, and that's why he felt the need to like specifically make a point of it. And in making a point of it, it's I feel like it, how do I word this? It almost feels like he's trying to prove the necessity and legitimacy of his book by saying we had to self-publish it.
Yeah.
Like it's giving, it's us against the world.
I see what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean. And so, okay. There we have it. We know about the book now. I'm not going to lie. I'm still on the fence. Like, just because I think it hurts me in my, like, heart of hearts to think that this was something that was all, like, conjured up as a publicity stunt when there's men who are, like, there to seek the Lord. Like, that would genuinely hurt my heart. It feels very gross and icky. And so what my hope is like this all stuff, not that this is much better, but that all this stuff was going down and he did come up with his admonishment, but like, yeah, it's also like, oh, this is exactly what I've been talking about. Let me just talk about it now. I kind of hope that was more the vibe, and that's kind of what I believe it was, than like them like cooking up this trash and like some back room somewhere and being like, okay, first I'm going to do this, then you're going to do that. Like, yeah. But either way, I think that's irrelevant.
I might be willing to give that benefit of the doubt if he hadn't gotten up after and taken the whole thing back, which we know is what happened. I think that on top of the fact that the other pastor in this whole scenario also has a past himself with a very, very sketchy book that he wrote himself that had a lot of controversy and was really not biblical, and that got kind of like, swept under the rug after it got called out for being really problematic. I think it's just like, to me, it just looks like where there's smoke, there's fire.
Okay.
And again, if it walks like a duck, I think just all the pieces are aligning. And so I think that I can only give a benefit of the doubt to a certain extent before I'm like, okay, well, what does this actually look like? Because that's probably what it is.
Okay, so just to clarify, you're saying you think this whole conference was put on to promote a book?
No, I'm not saying the whole conference was put on to promote a book, but I think that the whole scandal of him calling out that performance in the way that he did and talking about the Jezebel spirit, and then the other pastor calling him out on stage and all that. I'm talking about that whole part of the conference, the scandal of that part. That's what I think was a publicity stunt.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I agree. It is so unfortunate to think that that's the case. I mean, for the people who were there, but I mean, just him as a human, like, to be in a place where that's the kind of things that you're doing. I mean, he got up on stage and as part of that whole thing talked about how his voice was so hoarse because he had been up the whole night praying for the men because he was so disturbed by this whole thing. And then this all comes out. It's like, that's...
Well, I mean, either way, I guess we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But getting back to Jezebel.
Yes.
I
I was about to do like Queen, but I was like, no, don't do that.
Well, she was.
She was. Anyway, we're getting off track. Go for it.
But we were kind of talking and just decided that like we should actually look into it because there's a lot of people a lot of people who do use that term, Jezebel spirit, to describe a woman who they disagree with her morally, or they think that she's doing too much, or
Well, there's the sexual
has
seduction,
ill character, like poor
party.
character in whatever way. And it came up because, again, in that specific context, it was brought up, and then women were dragged into the conversation. And it seems to be women who are labeled with this title of being a Jezebel or having a Jezebel spirit. And it also seems to be that it doesn't necessarily happen when a woman is portraying potentially questionable morals or actions or whatever. It seems to be that women are labeled with that when they are doing something that challenges a man in a way that makes him uncomfortable.
Okay.
Or is calling out a behavior or an approach towards women that's problematic or damaging or whatever the case may be. And so,
Can I ask a question?
yeah.
Is it used when women are challenging men, or is it used when there is sexual promiscuity happening with women? Because I've always known it to be like a sexual thing. Like when a woman is behaving promiscuous, then they're labeled with the Jezebel spirit, like enticing, seductive. Not so much just challenging a man.
So I think that does happen. But from a lot of what I have read and a lot of what I have seen, I'll give you an example. Women who do a lot of work in calling out the really harmful and problematic effects of like purity culture and things like that, and the way that it has really damaged so many women, those women get called Jezebels.
So are you referencing the last time you read Sheila? I forget her last name, but that passage you'd read, is that kind of like an example?
She's one of them. There's a lot others, but
Oh,
she would, yeah, she's one of them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember her full name?
Her last name, I think it's Gregory.
Okay.
But I also don't think that's how you pronounce it. And I don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay, so never mind. I just wondered in case anyone wanted to go search her up.
I'm
But
so sorry.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to answer your question, both.
I mean, purity culture has to do with sex, but I'm following.
Yeah, right. But in an
following.
extremely different way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are we looking into exactly right now?
So basically, it made us think, in light of this whole thing, that we should actually look at the Bible and do what it is that we're supposed to do, which is take what we've heard and challenge it and compare it to what the Bible actually says. And so for us, that has looked like looking at where she's mentioned in the Bible. What does it say about her? What does it not say about her? Does the term Jezebel spirit actually exist? Like, is that an actual biblical term that's in there anywhere? And from that, hopefully come to somewhat of an understanding of, is this an okay term to even be using and labeling people with? Is it a helpful term, or is it a harmful term? Should we probably like just throw it out the window? Who knows? So that has been our goal in looking into this whole thing, right? So where she is mentioned in the Bible is in the Old Testament,
In 1st and 2nd Kings.
in 1st and 2nd Kings, and then again in the New Testament in Revelation.
Yes, chapter 2.
Right. And it would appear that they're two different people, right?
Yes. So, I mean, where do we want to start? Do we want to unpack a bit of the Old Testament first?
Yeah, let's start there.
Well, who was she to begin with?
That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
So if we go back, and I have a little synopsis of her here. So in the Old
You would.
Testament, yeah. And again, we see her in First and Second Kings, and I think a lot of people are more familiar with the story of Elijah than the story of Jezebel, because really she's a side character here. But Jezebel is basically married to King Ahab, and King Ahab was a king in that time of Elijah and those prophets, where he was really pushing for the worship of Baal and basically all the things that, the children of God did not want. And she is, kind of known as being quite influential in like getting her way, kind of making moves on behalf of King Ahab, all those things. And just for a bit more context of the time. So she's, what's her dad's name? Hold on, I had it here. Either way, she's a princess. She marries
Ichabod
Ahab.
Something. Icka something.
Ichabod.
Yeah, something
Ichabod,
like that.
something like that. But either way, she's like, really what matters about her, why she's even mentioned, is because she is married to King Ahab. Mm-hmm. Now, in the time of First and Second Kings, this is like, for the children of Israel, what's happening is they were like, God, we want a king, we want a king. And God was like, no, I'm your king. And then they still wanted it. So they got a king, Saul, then they got a King David. And like, we're in the age where they keep getting kings and all these kings keep falling short. So that's kind of where all this comes up. And so at this point in time, there's Elijah. He's trying to,
Keep everyone on track.
Yes. Prophesy, do what he was called to do. And there is Jezebel and King Ahab, and Elijah's basically fearing for his life and running at the time when they all come up in the story. Mm-hmm. So there's that.
I think it's also interesting to mention too that the king was like an Israelite, but she was not.
Yes.
So we have an unequally yoked couple here. Yeah. He married outside of what would have been custom, what would have been, normal or like safe, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's really
different culture, different religion, different customs, different way of life, different beliefs, different everything.
Yes. And we definitely see the fruit of that in this. Okay. So are we going to read the scriptures? What are we doing?
We can. I feel like it's a lot to read, but we can.
So what are your findings now? You both did a little digging. What are things you've noticed? What are things you've taken away?
Okay. Sorry, I'm collecting thoughts. Because I was just thinking, like we could just dump all the scripture verse references in the thing as well.
Yeah.
So we don't have to go through every single one. But
yeah.
I think some of it will give context. I just have to pick which ones. Okay, so either way, something that when looking through the story of, I keep wanting to say the story of Jezebel, it's the story of Elijah.
Yeah.
But in that,
she's there too.
Yeah, she's just there too. In that pocket of the Bible, in those stories in First and Second Kings, what we see about Jezebel is, we hear a lot about her husband's wickedness, for starters. We know that she is very into worship of idols. And we kind of have this situation, I think it's in Second Kings, is where the situation happens, where she very distinctly crosses somebody that was trying to follow the will of God. And she's like, no, I want it my way. She calls them off, didn't inform anybody that she was doing this. So really what we're seeing over and over again is that she is an idol worshiper. She's evil along with her husband. She is not willing to yield to the will of God in any way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. And essentially she's just like a villain. But it doesn't really specifically say Jezebel went out and did this, and this, aside from, again, that Second Kings, hold on, I'm going to tell you the exact verse. In Second Kings 9, or sorry, no, it was First Kings. I'm so sorry. 1 Kings chapter 21, verses 5 to 16, in which she plays an active role in murdering a man called Naboth. So we basically just see her coming up. Her name is mentioned a bunch of times. This story is never central to her, except for that chapter piece I just mentioned. And it's just a lot of her being evil and going along with her husband and not being a caring human. Which I'm not going to lie. I understand, with that being the context, how we see some of this crossover between people saying, okay, well, you know, that person's being a Jezebel because they're thinking about them being like unyielding to the will of God. They're thinking about them being evil, not righteous, things like that. I didn't explicitly see anything about sexual immorality. Like, it does not mention specifically in the Bible her doing anything by way of seduction or by way of sleeping around, like, at all. Now, I understand that, like, if she's manipulating people and, like, kind of getting her own way, I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility, but the Bible and what I read didn't say that, so I'm not going with that, if that's fair.
Yeah, I think I agree. I do think it's interesting that it does talk about, like, she is mentioned as being essentially,
She was evil.
able to, like, work the system,
Yeah.
you know, to get her way or to make things happen that she wanted to have happen. But yeah, there is nothing explicitly mentioned there about her being a seductress or being, you know, overtly very sexual in a problematic or a sinful kind of a way.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a huge thing to make note of.
Yeah.
I think that it's really interesting, like, not that I have been able to do a massive deep dive into this, but
Of course.
the people, the culture that she was coming from, they did not worship God. They didn't do anything like that. It was very, very different. It was very, very opposite. It was very, like, pagan in that sense. And so, you know, we're talking about very different morals and very different way of life. We're talking about, like, you know, like human sacrifices and, like, that kind of
Just things that
stuff.
are not
Like,
of God.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think one of my thoughts that I had was it seems like when these conversations are had where the term Jezebel spirit is thrown around, to bring it back to, like, the topic, it does feel like, again, they are putting it onto women for certain types of behavior. But when I look at that in the Bible and what it says about her and looking at where she came from, the way that she was behaving was indicative of the culture and the customs and the religion that she came from, which is just a not biblical, not God honoring, you know, sinful kind of a thing. And so in that sense, is it fair or is it right to label people and label women specifically as having a Jezebel spirit, if in fact this person that you're speaking about is actually doing something that you genuinely deem to be sinful and not just you think that they're doing too much as a woman, right? But if they are doing something that is actually potentially, you know, maybe sinful or maybe questionable or whatever the case may be, is that them being a Jezebel, or is that just them walking in sin the same way that anybody else could be walking in sin? Does that make sense?
No, I see what you're saying for sure. And I guess that's kind of part of what concerned us, is just, is it ever okay to immediately just place a label on someone and kind of walk off? Because in the context of where we tend to hear a Jezebel spirit, or you're being a Jezebel, it's not met with like a very like loving correction. Like, this is why this is a problem, and like, let's look at healthy correction. We don't get the two pieces. It's just kind of like, you're being you're done, and then that's it. No pun intended with the you're done. It's just that's what happens. And so I think, while it is, I'm a bit conflicted here, because I think it's harmful to just drop that label on somebody. However, I understand why the label is there. I understand that the word Jezebel can kind of encompass all these character traits that somebody's talking about. And not that the word itself can, but like, they're just associated. Do I think it's okay to now start throwing the word around? No. But I understand where it came from, or like why somebody's like, the word Jezebel is associated with bad things, essentially. I'm not seeing Jezebel spirit.
Yeah, that doesn't exist anywhere in the Bible.
In the Bible,
to
that we
answer
can
that
find.
question,
I mean, unless somebody
there.
can find it and show us, I would genuinely like, if you know where it is, tell me. I want to find it, but I couldn't find it.
No, nowhere.
And so I guess, like, first thing, and especially because I'm gonna venture in and say that I would assume that the term Jezebel is probably used a lot more in Christian-centered spaces, because we have the context of the story. When is it ever appropriate to use that against somebody, or is it just better to say, hey, this is what's happening that isn't okay, and like, let's fix it? Like, labels don't really help solve anything, if you ask me.
I would agree with that. I think that my thoughts on that are, as a Christian who has a actual relationship and friendship with another Christian, to the point where like, you have that place to maybe point something out in their life that is harmful or shouldn't be there, then I think point out that thing. Like, specifically, don't essentially be name calling. When has that ever helped anything? And I think that, yes, she can be seen as a like a symbol, maybe, I guess, of, some of those character traits. However, there's a whole lot of other people in the Bible who also demonstrated very similar sinful character traits.
Yeah.
A lot of them being men in the Bible, but we don't see those names being called out and used in that kind of a way.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting that it's her name, like a woman's name specifically, if we're going to be labeling people using names.
Yeah.
Does that kind of make sense?
Is that 100% true? Like Judas, for example. A lot of people use Judas as a symbol of how you're behaving.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't personally heard
I've
that,
never
but I'm
heard
willing
that.
to take your word for it.
I've heard that before.
Okay, like in what? Like, explain.
Like, they won't say like the spirit of Judas, but like some people might label a friend in their group as the Judas of the group because they can't be trusted.
That's so sad.
That is a thing I've heard before.
I've never heard that.
Okay.
Maybe,
I never heard that
maybe
before
it's just guys that know that. Maybe.
I don't know.
And also, side thought, does Pharisee count in this topic? Because people do use the term Pharisee to describe people.
I would say Pharisee would count. Definitely. But then that just kind of comes back to the original point. Like, because I'm saying I understand why the term Jezebel is there. You liken things to their character traits. We see this character. These are the traits that she portrayed. So the term is used. But I don't think it's helpful to call people Pharisees either. Like, I would never do that, because It's one thing to just label and walk away, and there's another to say, like, how can I help you in this? Is this something you're struggling with? Is this something that we can work on? Like, that's what's actually constructive.
Agreed. I think it feels like name calling to me. And I don't think that that's helpful. If there's something specifically that you're noticing that's harmful, then call that out. Don't throw around names and label somebody and leave it at that. I think that, how do I articulate this? I think that the difference between a term like that, like, oh, he's the Judas of the friend group, which I have honestly, I've never heard that before. That's really interesting to me.
I've actually never heard somebody other than this situation be called a Jezebel.
Really?
I've heard the term used to describe like behavior, but I've never heard somebody specifically be called a Jezebel.
I have heard both.
I've heard both too.
Yeah.
So I'm saying maybe it's maybe because Jezebel was a woman, and when it's used, it's against women. Maybe that's
Sticks
why
out
you
more.
guys hear it more, and you don't hear the Judas as much.
I would love to know.
I've heard a lot of rappers use the term. You use Judas as a reference. Judas is used.
Is
to
that being used
describe
in a Christian context or not?
What do you mean in a Christian context?
Like you just said, you've heard a lot of rappers use.
Like, do you mean, are they Christian rappers?
Yeah.
Not necessarily. A lot of people know who Judas was in the story of Jesus' death.
Yeah, no, I know. It's just interesting to me, like which.
I've heard it used with men. In the same way that Jezebel might be used with women.
But
and that's just for context, for the sake of conversation.
Yeah. But I think though, what comes to mind for that though is the specificness of what would be being referred to in a scenario like that. It would be very specifically like, this person is going to stab you in the back. They can't be trusted. Right? That's what I would gather from that. Is that the context that you're, yeah. So if that's the case, I mean, that makes sense to me. I think, again, the reason why the term Jezebel spirit doesn't sit right with me is because it seems like it is thrown around a lot without any specific meaning that like we can all agree upon.
I feel like there is specific meaning though. Like,
if it's being used in the right context, I guess, then maybe. But I think that when it comes to, for example, women, like I mentioned before, who are doing a lot of work in a particular area, being labeled as being a Jezebel, there isn't any grounds to that. And it doesn't hold up with the manipulative kind of a character that we see in 1st and 2nd Kings, right? In that sense, it is you as a woman are challenging men maybe on their behavior or what they're saying or how they're treating women. You are kind of upsetting the apple cart in the sense of like we had a good thing going here. Why'd you have to go and ruin it? Expecting different or better behavior than what was maybe being displayed by the particular men who would be mad at something like this. And so then they get labeled as a Jezebel. It seems like in the Bible, she's mentioned as somebody who does do a lot, in that she is going behind her husband's back and kind of maneuvering things and doing things, and kind of working the system and making things happen. But she's doing it in a negative way. And I think that in the context I'm describing, we have women who are trying to make things happen and who are calling things out and who are, calling for change and who are trying to rework a system, if you will. But they're doing it in a positive way. But they're being labeled as such and being told that, you're doing too much. You're taking up too much space. You're being too loud. In the same way that I think a lot of people interpret Jezebel's actions to be, as like she was doing too much. She was being very obnoxious. She was being very disrespectful. She was being very sinful. She was being all those kinds of things.
But I'm just curious on what so it seems like your gripe is not the term. It's
The use.
inaccurately using it, which I think most people would agree on. But I thought your gripe was with the term itself.
I think it's a bit of both. I think, one, the term doesn't exist anywhere in the Bible. So
Which term specifically? Jezebel
spirit.
Okay.
Yeah. So to be...
Okay, so what does it mean? What does Jezebel spirit mean?
Well, that's what I'm trying to explain. I think that people are just saying that as like the essence of who they understood Jezebel's character to be in the Bible. But like, it's not to say like it's in the Bible, thou shalt not have a Jezebel spirit. Like there's nothing like that. So what I think we're getting at is just the idea that this is a label that has been created based on something that was seen, just like somebody could call somebody a Judas, just like somebody can call somebody a Pharisee. But that's kind of where it ends. It's a label. And of course you don't want to be associated with the things that any of these characters did, but it doesn't really go much further than that. It's a label, and we know that labels can be very harmful depending on how we use them.
I think that, and I think also to your question, what does it mean? Who knows? I think that that's part of the problem. I think that because it is used in different ways to describe different things, different types of behavior, or to stereotype different people in different ways, I think that is part of the problem, is that it is so like open to, it's so subjective. It is open to interpretation. However, the person using it at the time feels like using it. I think that actually is part of the problem. What does it mean?
Okay, so if we don't know what it means, is uproar the right response? And part B of that question, based on what you read, what do you think the original meaning? Because there was somebody who said it first. Somebody who said,
I wonder who that was.
Jezebel's spirit. What do you think they meant based off of what you read about her?
Well, I couldn't speculate about that because I don't know who the first person was to say it or the context that they used it in, so I have no idea.
Based on what I read, though, like if I had to speculate, I would just go with she was evil. She wasn't afraid to cross lines that other people would think were icky, and like would do manipulative things. That's all I would say. Because even if like the idea of like, she like didn't listen to men. Everything we see about Jezebel, she did. Her husband knew. Like he might not have understood the full story. Like again in the, oh my gosh, what is it? Before I misquote that, in 1 Kings chapter 21, where she like kills that guy for his field, she did say to her husband, like, I'll take care of it. Like he was upset about the field. She said, I'll take care of it. He might not in on the nitty gritty, but he knew she was going to do something. So like, I think that might have been something people have just thrown on. But like a lot of this stuff was either her and her husband both doing it, or her husband griping to her about something and being like, I got you, babe. Like, let me take care of it.
To be honest, he sounded kind of soft.
Well,
that was actually something that
King Ahab
I
is
really
trash.
thought of. Like it literally says he went to his room and was sulking and refused to eat.
yeah.
That's toddler behavior right there. He was throwing a tantrum. And she didn't even go in and say, I got you, babe. She said, like, why are you carrying on like
Can I
this?
just read it?
Get up
quick?
and act like
Yeah,
a
read
king.
I'm going to read
Like,
it.
what are you doing?
Starting at 5?
No, I'm actually going to start at 21 verse 1 because we need the context now of him. If that's okay.
This?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard in Jezreel beside the palace of Ahab, king of Samaria. And after this, Ahab said to Naboth, give me your vineyard, that I may have it for a vegetable garden, because it is near my house. And I will give you a better vineyard for it. Or, if it seems good to you, I will give you its value in money. But Naboth said to Ahab, the Lord forbid that I should give you the inheritance of my father. And Ahab went into his house vexed and sullen because of what Naboth the Jezreelite had said to him. For he had said, I will not give you the inheritance of my fathers. And he lay down on his bed and turned away his face and would not eat food. Okay. This is verse 5. But Jezebel, his wife, came to him and said to him, why is your spirit so vexed that you eat no food? And he said to her, because I spoke to Naboth the Jezreelite and said to him, give me your vineyard for money, or else if it please you, I will give you another vineyard for it. And he said, I will not give you my vineyard. And Jezebel his wife said to him, do you now govern Israel? Arise and eat bread and let your heart be cheerful. I will give you the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. Verse 8, so she wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal. And she sent the letters to the elders and the leaders who lived with Naboth in his city. And she wrote in the letters, proclaim a fast and set Naboth at the head of the people. And set 2 worthless men opposite him and let them bring a charge against him, saying, you have cursed God and the king. Then take him out and stone him to death. So that's verse 10. Basically, all I saw from this is Ahab is throwing a fit because he didn't get what he wanted. Jezebel is like, aren't you the king? Do what you want, but don't worry, I'll take care of it for you. And then goes above and beyond, like to the point of killing him over a vegetable garden, essentially. And so what?
That's
no,
crazy.
but it is crazy. It's wild. But what I'm saying from this is like what I would say about Jezebel from this, and I think this is probably the biggest chunk of passage that I was able to find where it's like her story, because this goes down to like verse 15. What I would say about this is I don't get that she's a woman who doesn't do what her husband says or doesn't do what men says, but I get that she goes above and beyond what's necessary. So sure, there's a flair for the dramatic here. Did she have to get him stoned? No.
Yeah, she's doing the most.
Right. They could have written a law or a decree saying like that we're seizing this field, but she went above and beyond. In the end, unfortunately, this actually comes to pass. Naboth gets killed, and I guess King Ahab gets to plant his veggies, and like that's kind of that tale. But like,
And that's the veggie tale.
yeah. But that's kind of the key piece here is just there's this sense of darkness, this sense of manipulativeness, this sense of like, well, you're the king, just do what you want. Even though Ahab did go and ask nicely and respected, like he was upset about it, but he like respected the fact that Nabor said no. And so it's just kind of this energy of like, go above and beyond, get what you want, be manipulative about it. So I understand that in the context of what we're talking about, when the label is to be used and not used. I don't like labels, so I'm not going to be like, well, if we're going to use it properly, like I don't really want to use it. But for the sake of argument, like if somebody's being manipulative, if somebody's being cruel, if somebody is just not of God, that would be contextually what we should see that label as. But we tend to see it a lot in terms of like a sexual thing, which I think might be getting confused with what happens in Revelation, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. I'm just reading this. It's interesting.
Yeah. Oopsie.
One, I don't think that he respected the answer that he got.
I mean, he didn't do anything about it, though. So he just took it as a loss. Like, dang, he said no. In that regard, yes, he didn't respect it. Like, he threw a fit.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't say, actually, no, you're wrong. That's what I mean by he respected it.
It's funny. In my version, it says, she comes up to him and she says, "Is this how you act as king over Israel?"
Okay, so we get some
Which
sass,
to me, yeah.
but fair.
To me, reads as, like, why are you, like, putting on a hunger strike right now? Like, you look pathetic. Are you the king or not? Get up and act like it.
Yeah.
That's what that reads like to me.
Well, I think for context, the question is, who was Jezebel prior to marrying this guy? Right?
Princess of Phoenicia.
Right?
Yes.
From what I've done in my little research I've done, she comes from the lineage of the Canaanites.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Which is a very violent,
Yeah.
violent people.
Right.
And she was a princess.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So think about it. You're coming from a royal family, a very, very violent, ruled by fear kind of people, and you marry this marshmallow guy who's very soft. I can imagine the way she would look at him when he was told no by somebody beneath him. She's like, what are you doing? Like,
right.
This is not how we lead, because she comes from
different context.
Yeah, exactly. If we want something, we go out and take it by force. You can say no, but it's not going to matter.
But then when you think about it, when you think about the Canaanites, that comes from Cain. We know how
that went down.
We know how God felt about Cain, right? So context wise and backstory, I think there is a validity to the term Jezebel's spirit, right? Whether the spirit part is in the Bible or not, we know what it's referring to. I think there is a validity to it. However, the context in which it's used today, I don't think fits what the term actually means.
Yeah. And I think that really is where my issue is. I think in the context of the Bible and the behavior that we see from her and understanding where she comes from, I think that there could be an understanding of what that term should mean. And that in and of itself isn't necessarily untrue. But yeah, the context that it's used in now, I don't think is that. I think that it is used far more in a referring to like a sexuality kind of a thing. And I don't think that it's used in I'm genuinely calling out problematic behavior that I see. It's used in a derogatory, demeaning, sit down and shut up and take up less space and you're doing too much and you're a woman, who do you think you are, kind of a way. And so with that, I think that it's, even less about the term itself. It's about the way that it's being used and the people specifically who are using it.
Yeah. As I'm sitting here thinking about all this, though, because, I mean, we're sinful, obviously. So, of course, like, in case you didn't know. So, of course, we're going to take terms that at one point may have made sense or, again, was synonymous with something and we're going to skew it and we're going to use it the wrong way and we're going to mess up and we're going to stomp all over people with it. I'm not saying that's okay or that's excusable, but it's understandable. I think it's funny that in the context of the story, bigger than Jezebel, just where Israel was at and the fact that they kept messing things up, even though God handed it to them over and over and over, we're just seeing that parallel again. Like, God can hand us something on a silver platter and we're going to fumble. Mm-hmm. And the cool thing about all of this is whether somebody's using the term Jezebel inadequately, whether somebody is, you know, like the Israelites saying, no, God, we want to do this and we're going to do that, when he's like, please, I'm begging you. I know what's good for you. I know what's right for you. Please do what I'm telling you, is that he picks us back up again. And so whether it be whatever happens next with the whole debacle that happened with this men's conference, or just like in our own lives, no matter how many times we do this stuff, he's faithful and he's just and he's going to forgive it. And if we're willing to ask him for that. And so, I don't know, thinking about all this kind of makes me a bit discouraged, because I'm like, why are people like this? Why am I even like this? Like, why do we turn our hearts to other people, and why are we so harsh? But it is comforting to realize, like, okay, he's going to turn it around. This is like, it's not the end. It's not over. Like, he's bigger than this, even though we keep messing this stuff up and using these things in the way we shouldn't. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, to just like sum up
wrap it up, sis.
Our like quest or like inquiry into this whole thing, to answer the questions that we started out trying to look into answering. I think it seems to be that no, Jezebel spirit is not a term that's in the Bible, unless somebody can prove us otherwise,
which we're open to.
Yeah, if it's there, show us. That two, it does not seem productive or helpful to label anybody as anything. If you have a place in somebody's life to call something out in them, in a helpful and loving way, then do that specifically. Don't slap a label on them and then walk away. I think that three, specifically for women, because
period. No pun intended.
Yeah. I think that when I look at this, I think my conclusion remains that it does not seem fair or right to actually, you know what's I wrote it down specifically. Let me just read what
Sure.
It doesn't seem biblically accurate or fair to women to be naming those sins as a woman and attributing them to a woman's temperament, when in reality, being sinful is a human thing, not a woman thing. Being potentially sexually immoral is a human thing, not a woman thing. Being manipulative or conniving is a human thing and not a woman thing. I think that, again, my opinion on that remains unchanged.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that, I think kind of like what we were saying before, honestly, like, I think there's a lot that gets like tossed on women in terms of like, oh, you're being like this, or like, oh, you're being like that. That's just really unfortunate. And it can feel like really heavy and like you're being like bogged down with a lot of like labels or stereotypes or whatever being put on you. I think it's really unfortunate when that comes from inside the church. So I think that, one, I would encourage women to like shake that off. Like, you don't have to carry the weight of that. If the characteristics biblically that were being described don't apply to you, then move on, girl. I think that we've discovered today that it's really important to take what you hear, whether you think it's accurate or there's something that doesn't sit right with you and it doesn't seem accurate or it doesn't seem fair or biblical or true, then like go and challenge it. Go fact check. Yeah.
Yes.
Go pick up the Bible and do some fact checking.
Absolutely.
Because I think we've discovered here today that like there is a certain level of like understanding of where the term may come from in its like origins. But the way that it's being used is not really true and not really biblical and not really helpful. And so I think that we've been able to come to that through actually reading what the Bible itself has to say. And I think that that's just a really important thing to do.
Yeah.
Know these things for yourself. And if you don't know, then you are worth picking it up for yourself and reading and finding out, because it's important. And I think that when you can arm yourself with that knowledge and with that truth, then the opinions or the shame and the guilt that's associated with terms like this, the stereotypes, the questions of like identity and all those kinds of things that can feel like it's being thrown at you. I think this can be your defense, basically. I think it can be comfort. And I think that it obviously is truth. And if you can read that for yourself, then can throw the rest of it out the window. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah. And just to tack on really quick and add on, because I agree, paramount, go search the Bible for yourself. Seek him, find him. He will, like, if you're looking to understand the truth, God is not going to withhold that from you ever. Mm-hmm. But let's say you do, in seeking, realize, okay, sure, these terms are not things to blanket state over people, but like, we're all human. Everybody has some form of this Jezebel spirit trait in them at some point. Not to say we should label and like be like, nah, but like, it's true. We at all points have all done something manipulative or harsh or over the top that was probably not the way God would want us to navigate. That is not the end of the road. Mm-hmm. Like, just again, like he did with the Israelites, with anybody, if you feel like you're in that position, or you feel like, how do I not do that? Like, he picks you up from that if you ask him to. If you've been labeled as something, it is not your forever label. It is not something that you have to absorb and decide, well, this is how I am now. God carries you out of that if you ask him to. And you cannot fall too far from his grace, no matter if you've been labeled as that from somebody else, from yourself. If you're seeing certain characteristics, like, that is not the end of your story. Mm-hmm. And as women who want to seek the Lord, that is so important for us to remember. Our identity is not in the label. Our identity is in who Jesus says we are. And he says we're loved. He says that we're cared for. He says that we're his. Mm-hmm. So who cares if somebody has labeled you as that? Mm-hmm. Who cares if you have labeled yourself as that? You don't have to accept it. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that we got to look in the word for that. If you want to do more reading, we're going to have all the references to the scripture verses where Jezebel is mentioned in the notes, just in case you want to do some digging for yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool.
It's funny because we're probably going to like end this and I'm going to be like, another thing. That's okay. It's going to happen. I give it like 2 minutes.
That's fine. We tried.
Yeah.
We're not the be all end all authority on this.
No.
We're also learning and exploring, and that's the cool thing.
Yeah. This is like a very real time like thing.
Yeah. But thank you. Go ahead. Preach, baby.
Preach. Throw some love. Like, you know, like the ladies who just throw love.
I love those ladies.
Yeah.
They're the cutest.
Mm-hmm. They always cook well.
They do. And they always have snacks in their bag or candy.
Yeah.
I've been trying to be that girl at church. I carry granola bars and candy for all the kids. Because I just want to be that lady.
Okay, wait. What candies are they?
I switch out.
Okay.
So, well, last thing I had chewy granola bars, like the chocolate covered
Okay.
chocolate dip. Sometimes I get Jolly Ranchers. I try to do like hard candies
Ooh,
and
so
not
you're the
soft
cool
candies. Sometimes they're like organic lollipops, I'm not gonna lie, but they're delicious still. I switch it up. It just depends on what was available.
Okay, to me, the stereotypical church lady candy is
Hold on,
either.
before you continue, are we done?
Yeah, sorry.
All right, I'm cutting this out.
No,
sorry.
wait, don't.
Why?
Because I feel like this is a good segue into whatever happens to be the next thing that it is.
I'm sorry, EJ. Finish your thought, and then we can cut off. Compromise. We won't keep going. Okay.
No, this is the end. Yeah. Okay, I feel like the stereotypical church lady candy
Yeah.
is either Werther's Originals or
Yeah.
those, right? Or those strawberry candies with like the red and the green, like strawberry wrapper, you know?
And they're like gooey on the inside. I hate those.
Yeah, those ones. Or the, what's the, like the strawberry and the white, like swirly ones?
Oh, just the peppermints.
No. The,
It's like cream.
yeah,
cream.
like they're like creamy.
Oh, I've never had that.
What are they
I think
called?
it's supposed to like imitate like yogurt.
They start with a C.
Strawberry and yogurt.
Creme?
I don't know.
Nobody
Listen,
knows.
I grew up with like some real Caribbean women, so they give you a ginger candy or a menthol and call it a day. But like, I'm trying to not to do that.
To me, those are the stereotypical church candies.
I might have to get my hands on those.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on.
All right, EJ, you're up. It's time for Boy Briefs.
Let's go.
Woo. So today we actually have a question from a listener. How exciting is that? Yeah. Guys, by the way, if you want to ask a question, whether it be for Priya and I to talk about as a topic or specifically for EJ for Boy Briefs, DM us, either Priya or myself or just the Big Girl Panties Instagram page, because we want to do that.
Now I'm nervous. There's like no pre-pod production to know what this question is.
Nope.
Yeah, you're fun
On the
blind.
spot.
Oh gosh.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Are there any man code red flags in a woman that result in an absolutely not? I love this question.
Man code red flags.
Yeah,
So I'm assuming that just means like
like man coded.
universally we all just know like run for the hills.
Sure. Do you take it as that, Priya?
Read it again.
Are there any man code red flags in a woman that result in an absolutely not? Like, I feel like that means like man coded, like something that a girl might not think is a red flag, but guys would be
Yeah.
like, no, that's a red flag.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I pictured as.
Yeah.
All right. Ooh. Let's see.
He's so excited.
I know. It was
I
a
like
hand
getting asked
rub.
questions, yo. I'm sitting back here listening to you guys talk for hours. I just like when I get to be involved.
He makes it sound like we're holding him hostage.
The boy has FOMO.
Man coded red flags.
To the person who sent this in, we hope this is what you meant.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, there might be a few. I think if she has no female friends, that's a red flag. But is that man coded? Because if I flipped it, wouldn't girls feel the same way?
I personally would
I
feel the
would.
same.
Okay, so
If
maybe
he had no
that's
guy
not.
friends.
So maybe that's not.
But still, and just please make sure you expound on your answers. I don't know why I said it like that. I'm sorry, EJ. I know you know what you're doing.
This is tough. This is actually a hard question.
He stumped.
Because
We
again,
did it.
Does that mean we
the
won?
part that stumps me is the man coded. Because I can think of things that certain men would find as red flags. But man coded to me feels like I got to find like a universal one that all men would be like, no.
Absolutely no. What about this? What if, let's say in your group of guy friends, if a guy was like, oh, I'm into this girl, and listed a bunch of stuff about her, what's one or a couple things that you think all of you would be like, whoa, hold up?
Mm-hmm.
I think the guy friend thing. If
Yeah.
you only hang out with dudes, that's a red flag.
Talk about it.
Because why are you hanging out with only dudes? Why can't you get along with your own kind?
Your own kind.
You said your own kind.
Why are you like a nomad of your people?
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Well, okay. I think to that though, like different girls have different personalities. And like there is just a lot of girls that can be difficult to get along with.
That's a if your own girls don't like to hang out with you, why do you think I would want to?
What I would gather from that is I would be concerned if she feels that she's like, girls are annoying, like I don't want to deal with them. It's like, do you feel like you can't work through those challenges? Because that says a lot as a general statement. And so it's less about like your own kind don't want you,
Yeah.
but more about like, why do you find that so challenging to work through? I guess. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think you do.
Yeah, and I don't want you kicking it with my boys like that.
Why?
Because that's weird. That's out of line to me.
You're out of line. I need to stop.
You're done.
You're done. Get off the stage.
Foreshadowing.
No, that would have been post-shadowing.
True.
It's just weird to me. Like,
Yeah.
it's just weird.
Is it a matter of
Yeah.
like maybe she's too friendly?
No. It's just weird. It's uncomfortably weird. Why are you? Why
You're
are you
speaking in terms
okay?
of there being like healthy boundaries within a relationship. Like if
Yes.
we're dating, then you hanging out with all my guy friends without me there feels like
that's just
an
that's
uncomfortable pushing of a boundary.
Weird. Yeah, but to the root of what I'm saying, if you don't get along with girls, therefore you only kick it with dudes, then when we get into a relationship, there is a level of like, I don't really want you kicking it with dudes 24/7 if you're with me. I'm not saying you can't have guy friends, but I do think now that there is a relationship, there should be boundaries. And now that leads to you either respect them or you don't. If you don't, then that's a problem. If you do, that can lead to other problems because you don't have no girlfriends. You're only going to be around me. And that's going to annoy me. Leave me alone sometimes.
That's true.
I get that.
That's true. You need other friends.
You do. It's
Like,
healthy.
it's
It's
necessary.
important. And again, like we would say the exact same thing if there was a guy and he didn't have like good, healthy male relationships.
Absolutely.
Red flag.
Mm-hmm.
It just is.
Yeah.
So I get that. I think that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. What else?
Yeah. Any others?
Red flag for dudes. Okay, I got one.
Oh boy.
You ready?
No.
I
go.
think having multiple relationships prior to me is a red flag to me.
What do you define as multiple?
You're really gonna have to expand on that one.
Okay. I am 27. If I was single and I just met you, Priya,
Mm-hmm.
and I find out that you've had like 8 to 10 what you call long-term relationships prior to me, that's a red flag.
Okay, define a long-term
I
relationship.
actually think 5 is a red flag.
But I think that's relative though. Because like 1, define a long-term relationship. And 2, at what age are we talking about here?
Well, I said 27 for me.
Okay, so then define a long-term relationship because at 27, logistically speaking, you can only have had so many long-term relationships.
That's the point.
So what's long-term? 3 months, a year, 2 years?
Long-term, I would say, is beginning at like, I don't know, let's say 7, 8 months. I won't call it long-term. I'll call it serious relationship. You've had multiple serious relationships prior to me. That's a red flag.
Interesting.
Because then, to me, you're the problem.
I'm sorry. It's your bluntness sometimes. The woman was too stunned to speak. People love it, by the way. I've had some feedback. People are like, EJ's bluntness is fire.
Finally. Finally.
Well, because the funny thing is, I see what you're saying. I actually deeply understand.
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard some people say, well, if they haven't had a serious relationship or if they haven't, like, that's a red flag too. So what is it? Like, what's the sweet spot? I'm always wondering that.
See, I don't consider the no long-term relationships as a red flag. I consider that more as a, what do you guys call it? A
Circumstantial?
beige flag.
A beige flag?
And the reason I say that is because the reason why someone might not have had a relationship is vast. And there's no real way to know that until you know the person.
Right.
But on the flip side, when you've had multiple serious relationships, there's a level you can be like, okay, what is wrong with you? What's happening? You know, are you dating to like do you
You're
not,
just like a serial dater.
yeah, like
Yeah.
are you not good at pushing through tough times? Are you a quitter when the going gets tough? Are you annoying and they all just can't handle you? Like, there's just the
Is there an
the field-
emotional or
yeah.
maturity problem?
yeah,
Or
the field of ideas of what could be the reason with having multiple relationships is easier to navigate than why someone might have not had one.
Interesting. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the girl equivalent to that would be, I mean, yeah, if a guy just has like an insanely extensive dating history. But I think especially when it's the thing where the guy's like, oh yeah, all my exes were like
Or
crazy.
crazy.
And then it's like,
Or it was like always an ex's fault as to why it didn't work out.
Yeah.
And not any of your own. Like, you
Yeah.
were perfect.
yeah,
Yeah, I get that.
interesting.
I don't know. That's really it.
I'll take it. I thought that was solid.
I don't think there's a lot of like red flags that are specifically tied to just men. I think red flags they just pop up when you start interacting with somebody, and it can be anything.
Yeah. Sorry, question. Do you think that there are more red flags for women to look out for than men?
Yes.
How so?
I think kind of ties back to one of the previous pods we had, where men being the seekers versus women being the people that like agree to let you chase them or not. I feel like
men being the pursuers. Is that what you mean?
yeah, the pursuers
Okay.
and the women being pursued.
Okay.
I think when you're being pursued, when you make the choice of saying yes to dating somebody, like kind of like I said, like you're the gatekeeper, right? So you're the one kind of with more, I don't want to say with more risk, because that's not what I mean, but the ball's normally in your court, right? So because of that, the red flags are more for you guys because you're giving up something. Does that make sense?
No.
No?
Oh, I was going to say, I think so.
Priya's looking at me like it does. She's like, no.
What do you mean giving up? Like, what do you mean?
Okay. Don't take this the wrong way.
Oh, Lord. I'm scared.
In nature,
Are you sure this is the example that you want to choose?
I hope so.
Do you want a moment to think about it?
Nah, I'm good. Let's go for it. In nature,
Okay.
if you're the one being pursued, or we'll call it prey for the sake of just conversation. Just for the sake of conversation, okay?
Pray.
Meaning you're not the one out there chasing stuff.
You're being hunted.
You're being hunted. Yes, if you're the huntee, right? You have more to watch out for than the person who is hunting.
No, I'm sorry. I can't.
That makes sense, though.
Well, you know why I'm laughing? Because I'm just picturing like you talking this, and I'm seeing the National Geographic logo in the bottom corner of like my visual of you right now.
I'm not saying women are prey. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in the dating world.
Yes. That's so funny.
When it comes to dating, yes, women are the prey. That doesn't make women prey. But when it comes to the dating world, because men are chasing you. They are. Are they not?
I mean.
If you don't agree, just argue it. Don't stare at me. It's a podcast. Let's go.
It's like, I can't argue because I know exactly what you mean. It's just that, like, this wording, this visual is a hard pill to swallow.
Why?
That's really what it is.
Why is it hard to swallow?
Just because the thought of being prey feels like dehumanizing a little bit.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Why?
I don't know, because it feels less like...
Because it
like
feels
a
very
conquest.
primal and
It gives-
detached.
yeah.
Explain that to me.
Because we're not animals,
I didn't say you were.
men or women. But so when you describe it in a prey, being hunted kind of a way, it makes this whole thing feel very animalistic. And it removes the humanity from the conversation.
But isn't there an animalistic part to humanity?
Sure. But again, we're humans.
Mm-hmm.
We're not animals.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has to be a part of the conversation.
Okay, so then let me ask you this then. What did I say that you disagree with?
I just said I don't disagree with you. It's the visual that is a little uncomfy.
No, I'm with Shaina.
So I'm not saying anything wrong. You just don't like what I'm saying.
It's not even that either.
No,
really. It just
it's
makes
how
you
you're
slightly
saying
uncomfy, and I have to laugh.
It is
like, I don't know what else
you
to
know
say,
what?
man.
It's giving me the ick.
Oh,
But
you know
why?
what? I don't even think I have the ick. I just think it's like a funny visual, and again, like somehow because my brain does weird things, I'm also like hearing you say this. I'm seeing the National Geographic logo. I'm hearing like David Attenborough. Like a lot of things are happening in my brain right now.
Yeah, the gazelles are all minding their business in a field right now, just like having a chill Sunday, eating some grass. Unbeknownst to us, the male lions are like hiding in the bushes.
But if those gazelles have some red flags, they might notice the lions.
Huh?
The gazelles have to have more red flags when navigating the world.
They have to see more red flags,
Yes.
not have more red
Yes,
flags.
see more red flags, sorry. And that was the question. The question was, do women have to see more red flags than men or vice versa?
Yeah. And again, did you hear how that just went down? My brain is like running. My mouth can't keep up.
It's funny to me because when you walked in earlier, I was literally watching National Geographic.
You were. That's why I'm like laughing. The whole thing is very full circle. No, EJ, you're not saying anything wrong by any means. It's just like weird to think about that in that way. But I understand, and I think that if girls are to make lists of like red flags to watch out for in men, and men were to make lists of red flags to watch out for in women, the women's lists would be longer. I just feel that. Because I do think there's more risk involved. I think that you're kind of like, especially in the biblical sense, like you're choosing to submit to this person and let them lead and guide you in life. Like there's a lot there that you have to. Oh, whoa! Is that what the Bible tells us to do?
What thoughts do you have?
I feel like we should make that another.
Write it
Nah.
down, sis.
Nah, go into
Write
it.
it down.
Wait. What thoughts do you have?
She said choosing to submit.
Okay, so what are your thoughts?
It's getting so hot in here. It's not even funny, bro. Like, I am sweating. I need a fan. Like one of those big, like, makeup, like, drying off my face fans.
Ooh.
I'm going to get us some fans.
We should get fans.
Don't divert.
Sorry.
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 No,
Okay.
I think no, I think that we should talk about this later because I actually think it's a good topic. But I will just say briefly that, like, if a man is doing what he's supposed to do and being who he's supposed to be, then the idea of submission is which, like, we have to even talk about then, like, what that actually looks like and the definition of that. But anyway,
I would love to.
it's not so much a choice as it is just like a natural, like,
I already disagree.
what am I trying to say?
I think I disagree. I don't know what
Yeah,
you're going to
me
say, but I
too.
don't think I agree.
You have autonomy. You can choose to not do something.
No, you can. But I feel like, what am I trying to say?
Sorry, I can't start being like, here's what I think, and you haven't even finished your thought.
No,
I'm sorry.
no,
I
no, it's
apologize,
okay.
Genuinely.
You're so nice, Shaina.
What am I?
I am sorry.
Can a girl being too nice be a red flag?
Why do I feel so called out for no reason?
No.
Okay.
That's good.
I would call it something else. I wouldn't call it a red
Oh,
flag.
no.
What is it? A beige flag?
No, I would just think it's something
A
that,
boundary issue?
that maybe she's got to work on.
Probably.
Because maybe maybe people pleasing is a...
Ugh.
And you don't want to be a people pleaser in a relationship.
Mm,
'Cause
No,
then
that's
you
true.
end up losing.
You get walked
yourself.
over.
definitely.
That's fair.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
We need to table this discussion.
I feel like we should.
We do need to table it.
We should talk
EJ
about
was
it.
ready to go, like frothing at the mouth. But here's what I'm going to say. We're going to table this discussion because not only do I want us to have it, and EJ, you could be all up in that one, I promise. But I want to know from those of you still with us listening, which better be all of you, what, like, I want you to input what your thoughts are or what you would want us to tackle in that conversation. Like, let's make it a group project.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Because I feel like that is really a hot topic.
Oh, it's juicy.
The idea of, yeah,
Biblical
marriage
submission and marriage.
submitting
Ooh,
and-
juicy.
yeah.
So let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
Get ready. Give us the content. EJ looks really sad right now. He looks so dejected.
I'm always ready to
Disappointed.
debate something.
I know.
So.
I'm not. I need to mentally prepare.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. So then to conclude,
Yes.
there's not many red flags I would say are universally just male things. I think you just have a red flag. You have people red flags.
That's fair.
It's kind of, I think, what most girls would deem as a red flag. So would guys.
Okay.
That feels fair.
Ooh, I got one. Sorry. I got a good one.
Go for it.
If you're disrespectful, let me not say disrespectful. If you don't have a good perspective or view of your father, that might be a red flag for a dude.
Is that contextual though? Because there's, for very valid reasons, some people don't have a good view.
Mm-hmm.
No, not contextual.
As a general statement.
Whether or not you don't have a good relationship because of something your father did to you or because of whatever, that can just be a red flag because of what might come from that. Not saying it's your fault, but the outcome of how you are because of something that wasn't your fault could affect the guy that's trying to date you without you knowing it.
Interesting.
Okay.
I tried to conclude and then I psyched you out.
No, the can is open.
I psyched you out.
Yeah. Okay. What I think I'm understanding that you're saying is essentially if a girl has had a negative experience with a man in her life who she should have had a positive experience with.
No, her father. Not a man in her life.
Yeah, well, her father being that man.
But a man in her life could be anybody. I'm speaking specifically about your father.
Okay. Okay. So then that means that she might then have a negative view of men in general because of that. That would make aspects of the relationship harder because you are a man.
Can I redact? Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I wouldn't say like the way in which she views, but I wouldn't phrase it exactly how you did essentially. What if it's more like the way in which she navigates other relationships with males close to her might be skewed or affected poorly? Is that more fair to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's not her fault. I'm not saying it is her fault. But it can be reality. And it's not 100% for everybody. But the question is, what's a red flag? That could be a red flag because do I really want to search to find out if that's true or not? I might just pass.
I think the reason why I had to sit and get some clarification is because when you first said it, you were using, I think you dropped the word disrespectful, which in this particular. So you didn't mean that?
No.
Okay.
He had redacted.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I want to hear.
I mean, disrespectful to your dad is a red flag.
Well, I think being disrespectful to
period.
anybody is a red flag.
I think that would be the equivalent to like how a man treats his mother tells you a lot about him. I think that's kind of the realm I'm leaning towards. How she treats the men in her life, her dad specifically, is an important thing to notice. Because that'll be a reflection of how she treats you.
Interesting.
Or potentially how she might treat you.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm done for real.
Okay.
That's interesting.
It is. Okay, guys, if you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to give us a rating and review, whether that be on Spotify, Google Podcasts, anywhere you listen to your podcasts. Or if you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a like, leave us a comment. We love words of affirmation, so please do that. If you want to follow Priya, EJ, or myself, all of our socials are linked down below, whether that be in the show notes, wherever. You can find all that stuff there. I think that's it. So until next time, stay courageous, stay faithful, keep embracing the journey, and don't get your panties in a bunch. Bye, guys.